Hello, my name is Brian Armstrong with Siemens Software. I'm here live at Hanover Messe. Today with me, we're going to talk about software-defined factories. With me today is Daniela Stederoth with Digital Enterprise Sales at Siemens Germany, and also Tim Gaus, a principal at Deloitte and head of the Smart Factory Strategy. We're going to talk today a little bit, a few questions, and have just a conversation. I'm very excited to be with you today. So first of all, for you, Tim, Siemens is a big partner at the Smart Factory in Wichita, and I'd like to sort of get your experience around working with Siemens there over the past now 4 years, and tell us about that a bit.
So first off, the ecosystem is critically important to all of our smart factories, and Siemens has been a founding member globally, of course in Wichita, but also here in Dusseldorf. It's been a great partnership. I'd say we've found really new ways to unlock value and to really bring forward some of the innovations, which is really meant to be the whole point of the smart factory. How do you actually look at those innovations? But more importantly, what I really like about the Siemens partnership in particular is you guys are co-located with us. So you bring your best tech right down the hall from us, and then we bring it to life on the factory floor. So it's a great partnership and a pretty exciting time for us.
Yeah, very good. And speaking of Dusseldorf, Danielle,
Yeah.
you and I were just at the opening
Yes.
of the reopening of the new smart factory in Dusseldorf. Tell us about your impressions of that factory.
So Düsseldorf, that was real experience. It was amazing to see so many different technologies coming from all the different partners, and they were all seamlessly integrated into meaningful customer use cases that are really like operating and in place. And it's also about the people, so you could really see
Yeah.
like the sparkling in the eyes, and you can see the ideas coming up for collaboration and for new technology, how it can solve real life problems. So I definitely look forward to going there again with my customers, with our joint clients, and have cool workshops.
So I guess a question I have, and a lot of people have, is why did we even build the smart factories, right? It's been, as you know, Tim, and we've spent a lot of time and investment in these. And what's the goal of the smart factories?
Well, I'd say it's a couple of things. First, it has to be a spot to really test our innovation and test it in a real way, right? We have a functioning production line. It's a real life experience. And that's the only way we can actually make sure that innovation is truly going to work for people in the real life. But the second part of it, and probably more important, is it gives a chance for our clients mutually to come and put their hands on it and actually experience it. So it's one thing to see a PowerPoint slide or a presentation. It's a completely different thing to come on the production line and actually watch it in action. To me, that's the most important part. It helps our clients mutually just get their hands a little bit into the mess of real manufacturing in a very innovative space.
And to the clients, what do they say about it?
Oh, they love it. I got to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had, I think over 10,000 people come through in Wichita in the last couple of years with us. And universally, people have just said that this is a great experience for them to get their head around what the future looks like, but in a very pragmatic way.
Yeah.
And honestly, we all live in a brownfield world. That's what that's what all these smart factories are about. It's a very mixed ecosystem that kind of reflects what they actually experience in real life. And so that's been a great experience.
If I may add there, what I really also like is that you have the whole process there. You have the design of the product, the design of the production. You have like discrete manufacturing with robotics. You have processes. You have warehousing, packaging, 3D printing, just and including the whole building technology. So really everything is there.
And obviously, Siemens has been doing factories for some time now. Give us an example of a factory that you've been involved with that exemplifies this.
Yeah, sure. So in Siemens, we tend to say we drink our own champagne. So we have one factory in Erlangen, Germany, and there we build electronics, like frequency converters, for example. And it's a true smart factory. It is highly efficient, has won some prizes like the World Economics Forum Factory of the Year and so on. And it is so efficient, and still it manages to gain another 5 to 7% of efficiency year over year, every year, based on digitalization. Like they're producing 50% more outcome with the same amount of people. It's also sustainable. They have cut their CO2 footprint in half within just 2 years. And then they have like it's going to be net zero in 2030 actually.
Yeah.
And they have improved material flow, they have shortened time to market, quality has gone up all by more than 40%, and that's really just because it's such a smart and data-driven factory.
So it's funny that you bring that up. A client of ours in a very different spot. I would say a little bit older style manufacturing. You don't even see HMIs, you see push buttons, but they also really embrace the idea of software defined in the future of automation and really bringing AI to the shop floor. And they saw, much like what you just described, outsized results by doing so. One of their biggest problems was, if they had a quality defect, it could become catastrophic, and that would be, a shift, 2 shifts of downtime to recover from that outcome. They actually added AI on the edge to determine when that was going to occur and prevent it, actually slow down the machine automatically, human on the loop but not in the loop, to actually control the machine itself.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought up AI, Tim. We've been talking about AI. It's been in the news for many years, obviously. Really, what are some practical benefits to the customer in the end for AI? And you can both answer, right?
So AI has been a part of manufacturing for basically since AI started. We talk about machine learning, you talk about deep learning. We've been doing that. Heck, when I was 25 years ago, I was programming a vision sensor to do pattern recognition to do quality detection. So this is not a new concept for manufacturing, but the ability to deploy it at scale across a lot of different elements of the operation is new. And the quality and the richness that we're able to get to those outcomes is quite exciting to me personally, I think for all manufacturers. The one thing I would say that we haven't cracked the code on yet, but we're about to, is how agentic AI actually layers into our manufacturing environments. So think about a world where you have that shift handoff. Today, they're shuffling through papers and maybe going through screens. They're trying to figure out what's going on. In the future, that shift supervisor is going to come to you with the actual information in their hands. The agent will have gone through and said, where was my biggest downtime failure? What was the root cause behind it? How should I take action? You just have a different way of thinking about the way the AI agent will make the human a lot more effective in our manufacturing work.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And Daniela, we've obviously got a lot of AI technology embedded within Siemens. How about from the Siemens side? Yeah.
So same as Tim said, in the beginning, AI really was a niche technology available to just a few experts. But now with Gen AI and the large language models, it has been kind of democratized, so it's available to everyone. And that makes it so interesting for the shop floor. It can help people on the shop floor to interact with a machine, like co-pilots for operations that can help you to understand what is the error code, how can I solve this problem, how can I get my production back up and running. Co-pilots in, let's say, maintenance that can be used to do predictive and preventive maintenance. Then there is, of course, the co-pilots for engineering. So engineering that doesn't just write the code, but it even documents it, comments it. So there's lots of space, and I think there's coming more and more as we make data available to the people on the shop floor, and they can come up with their own ideas. It's become democratized, available to everyone.
Yeah. So I'm going to switch just slightly and talk about our alliance, if I may take a sidebar. Siemens and Deloitte have been in an alliance now for over 14 years, and it started with a small bit of Siemens technology in the PLM space, but it's grown now to encompass what you work with, the entire Siemens accelerator portfolio, as well as our other business units now, as we've seen at Dusseldorf and in our automation groups and our smart infrastructure. Tim, what's been the benefit of working with Siemens in those areas for Deloitte?
Well, it's exciting, right? Because we're talking about the entire manufacturing footprint, from product design to the product itself to the building they're operating in, right? And in all cases, it's letting us to find where we can co-innovate together and really kind of define that future of manufacturing. So, it's been a great partnership.
So, Daniela, you're sort of new now to the alliance, right? We sort of roped you in not too long ago, but what have you seen are the benefits of working with a company like Deloitte?
Yeah, as you said, I'm kind of the new kid on the block here with the automation, joining into well-established partnership. And as you said, there's so much been in the design phase, in the PLM environment, simulation, and now we're adding the shop floor. And what's the big benefit there is that with the accelerator portfolio, portfolio. We have great portfolio that is modular, that is interoperable, standard interfaces. And now with Deloitte as an integration partner, we bring all this to life in greenfield, but also in brownfield environments, because Deloitte has the expertise to do this implementation and integration of all the different shop floor and top floor
Yeah.
products and portfolio.
Yeah, it's perfect. So I guess kind of wrapping up a little bit, but you mentioned the shop floor. What about the people on the shop floor, right? What do all these changes in smart software-defined factories, what do they do to the people, and how do they benefit or not?
Yeah, actually, one of my favorite topics, to be honest. I'm a person who always gets excited about anything new. And I think it's an exciting time to be on the shop floor right now. I think people are keen to learn. They want to grow. They want to explore. And now the smart factory creates an environment where this is actually possible, with more monotonous and tedious tasks being taken over by automation, by AI, possibly by humanoid robots in the future, that gives space for meaningful and more creative tasks to the people. And then with all the data being available to shop for people, plus AI and low code, no code, then it's possible to implement small use cases on the shop floor. And we also see more and more IT-like skills come into the shop floor, because people just learn it at university, or they're familiar with it, with topics like virtualization. They know it from their phones, and they can use it on the shop floor. And that, I think, it's just exciting to be there and to be part of this change.
So they don't resent it in any way then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim, what about
I'd say I'm more mixed. I mean, I'm bullish on the impact technology will have, but I do think it's redefining what the skills are required for our workforce, not just the folks who are using the technology, but also the folks who are sustaining the technology. Old PLC guy, all I had to do is actually plug in and start, writing some ladder logic. That's not the world we're living in going forward. And so how you maintain this tech on the shop floor is going to be a different set of skills. The other thing I'd say is excited I am about the AI impact. There's some risks that come with it, right? You got to be careful that you don't have a workforce that loses its critical thinking. Because at the end of the day, AI is exciting and it's getting to new insights, but garbage in, garbage out still holds true.
Yeah.
And our shop floor is not necessarily the cleanest of data. So I just say there's a bit of caution that comes with it, but in general, a lot of excitement on how our workforce is embracing these new technologies.
Definitely. I should add on that, because you mentioned some ways of thinking. I think systems thinking, systems engineering is going to be more important, and overall more and more collaboration.
100%.
Great. So now just one final question. I'm going to ask you to predict the future. No one loves to do that. No one gets it right, but let's try. 3 to 4 years, where do you see manufacturing? Start with you, Daniela.
Start with me. Where do I see? So, definitely more of what we're talking about now is going to be state of the art. It's not to be sci-fi anymore, but we're going to see it everywhere. And I still bet on humanoid robots. We had the discussion earlier.
All right. 3 to 4 years is actually right around the corner. It's surprising how quickly it's going to come.
Right.
I do believe you're going to see a lot more integration of AI to the day-to-day operations of the plant. I mentioned agentic. I believe that's going to be very transformational to the way we manage our information and solve problems. It's going to increase the productivity in a way we don't expect. I am not as bullish on the humanoid. I think that's a little bit further out, but I do believe that the role our workforce plays is going to shift, and the automation and the core robotics are going to become much more intelligent. As a result, you're going to see a different relationship between the workforce and the operations that's going to be exciting for all of us.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you, Daniela and Tim, for the great conversation. I hope our listeners enjoy that and that you learned a little bit more about the Siemens and Deloitte alliance, as well as the future of smart manufacturing. Thank you.